Hi, my name is Timothy Andrew Clemens, July 19, 1990, and I need to talk to a member of the hostage negotiation team as I am I'm on my way to obtain a weapon and harm innocent people at Harborview. I found out that I have fractured ribs from use of force on me by them 2 weeks ago, and Sergeant James Kim of HNT told me that I was to call you guys immediately before obtaining a weapon, and that you guys are to get a negotiator in contact with me right away. Yeah. I'm going to the emergency department to stab innocent people in retaliation for them fracturing my ribs, and they not. I was there for 2 weeks in the psychiatric ICU, and I reported pain out of 4 out of 10 repeatedly, and they never looked into it. And I was discharged yesterday, and I was having a lot of pain today, and I went to the Zoom urgent care in Bellevue after doing a video consult with a doctor who referred me there for an X-ray, and she examined it and said that my ribs were in fact fractured. Okay, what do you want me to do?
To count to 20. Can you count to 20 with me?
Yeah, 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000, 11 1,000, 12 1,000, 13 1,000, 14 1,000, 15 1,000, 16 1,000, 17 1,000, 18 1,000, 19 1,000, 20 1,000.
Okay, good job. How are you feeling now? I thought you counted to 20.
I'm really upset. I was so upset with the care that I was receiving and other people and the abuse that was going on that right before I was discharged, I assaulted a staff member of the unit that was screaming at a demented patient that has very little intellectual capacity. That yeah.
Where are you at right now?
I don't want to tell you. I want to talk to a negotiator right away.
Do you want to take a walk and keep me on the line?
I'm walking to a location to purchase a knife and to go to Harborview and stab people.
So you don't have a knife right now?
No.
You're trying to look for a place to purchase a knife?
I know exactly where I'm going to get it from, but I don't want to say where I'm going to get it from. I was told by Sergeant James Kim to contact you guys immediately as before obtaining a weapon.
Okay. You don't want to tell me where you are, though?
No.
Okay, take a deep breath with me, okay? Deep breath. Okay. Tim, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you count to 20 with me again?
1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000, 11 1,000, 12 1,000, 13 1,000, 14 1,000, 15 1,000, 16 1,000, 17 1,000, 18 1,000, 19 1,000, 20 1,000.
Okay, good job. Okay, deep breath. Do you know where you are right now?
I do know, but I don't want to give it out.
Why don't you want to tell me where you are?
Because I want to talk to a negotiator.
Okay, and you said you don't have any type of knife or weapon on you right now?
I'm getting
Just
close to a
nobody has one?
location where I can get one.
Is that somewhere in Seattle?
It's in the area.
In the area of Seattle?
My psychologist who I contacted while he was at dinner is calling me, trying to intervene. What do you want me to do?
Okay. Are they on the phone right now? Are they
They're trying to call me. Yes,
Okay, your counselor's trying to call you right now?
my psychologist.
Your psychologist is trying to call you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me see if I can stay on the line with me for now, okay? Does it usually help you feel better when you talk to your psychologist?
He's not a negotiator. He's trying to learn as much as he can. But negotiators have very advanced active listening skills. They know that they can't reason with me until they're able to make me feel like I've been understood. And he's trying to learn that as much as possible, but it's new to him.
Okay. All right. Okay. So do you want to talk to our hostage negotiator then? I'll tell you when I can get you on the line, okay? Just
Okay.
hold the line. All right.
And I did reach out to Carl Newman, who, when I had this happen recently, where I was going to get a weapon and stab people at Westwood Village, Carl Newman gave me his phone number, and I texted him about 25 minutes ago and called him and did not receive a response. And he told me to call him before calling you guys, and I did try to do that.
Okay. Have you watched any like comedy shows or anything today? Kind of, eating some food, taking a nap, shower, anything like that?
I have not slept. I was
You haven't slept today.
no, I'm not sleeping. I forgot to take my meds, but my meds do not have research proven that they work for borderline or anti-personality disorder.
Okay. So do you remember the last time you took your meds or went to sleep?
I didn't. The last time I took my meds was in Harborview yesterday. I was discharged at 1 o'clock.
So you last took them yesterday. Okay. When's the last time you slept?
I haven't slept.
I mean, do you remember? Was it like a couple days? A week?
I slept from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. on yesterday, or Friday. Friday. When I was in the last day at Pez, or not Pez, but Psych ICU, I slept from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.
So maybe like Thursday night into Friday from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's been a couple of days since you had any sleep.
I have not been sleeping at all.
You haven't slept at all. Then okay. All right. And are you by yourself right now?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me now where you are?
No, I want to talk to a negotiator.
All right. Just to confirm, you don't have any type of weapons on you.
No, but I'm getting close to I'm about 10 minutes away from a store where I can get one. And I have money.
And you have money. Okay. Have you had any like alcohol or drugs?
No,
or
I
anything?
do
know
not.
You're not taking your meds.
I do not use caffeine anymore. I do not, I haven't used alcohol since my 21st birthday. I haven't used marijuana since about 2011. And I don't smoke or use any kind of drugs.
And are you calling from your phone or is it a borrowed phone?
It's my phone, 206 480 8168.
Okay. Have you been feeling sick at all? Any COVID symptoms?
No.
Okay. All right. And you said you're going to Harborview for sure. That's the hospital you want to go to, not a different hospital.
It's Harborview because they're the ones that abused me and the other patients, and my girlfriend is still in there and being abused. My girlfriend is Darlene, and we started dating in the Pez, or not Pez, but the Psych ICU.
Okay. All right. how did they abuse you? What happened? What did they do to you?
Well, the worst thing that they did was actually to that dementia patient, where they so I filled out a complaint form and told the individual that was screaming at this intellectually disabled woman who can barely do anything for herself, that if she didn't go to her room, he was going to call security and force her to her room and lock her in, and that's against the law. Seclusion can only be used to protect somebody from imminent harm to themselves or others, and she wasn't doing that. He's been doing this repeatedly. His name is, I think, R. Taylor. No, I was in Harborview Psych ICU for 2 weeks.
Okay. So that's the one that's off of like 9th and Jefferson, kind of right by the freeway.
So I'm going to attack innocent people at the Harborview Emergency Department because it's an open area. I will first stab the security, and then I will pass the security and stab innocent people in the waiting room. Because that's how the Oklahoma City bombing was done. It was in toleration for Waco and Ruby Ridge. And Sergeant James Kim knows that I know this very well from the book Stalling for Time that he has a signed copy of. And he talks to me a lot about how Gary talks about in his book that violence is not the answer. Yeah, that after the Oklahoma City bombing, the government realized that it could not just go in and kill innocent people. Waco and Ruby Ridge were tragedies because the FBI got impatient with negotiations and used tactical force. And I don't know much about Ruby. Well, I think Ruby Ridge people were killed without warning, which was against FBI policy at the time and law. And then in Waco, they got impatient and they used force, and the Advanced Davidians set themselves on fire. And I started watching the Waco series that Paramount Theaters.
So Tim, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to transfer over to the hostage negotiator. Okay.
Okay.
Great, just a moment. This is Larry.
Hi, my name is Tim.
Operator 6-8 with Seattle Police. I've got Tim Clemens on the line.
Hey Tim, it's Larry, Negotiator 2. What's going on?
Hi, I do not know you, Larry. I know James Kim very well. And he told me that before I obtain a weapon, which I'm just about to do, that I was to call you guys and specifically ask for HNT.
So Tim?
Yeah.
I work with James. He's Negotiator 1, and I'm the guy that works with him, okay? The
Okay.
supervisor.
Okay.
So, and he did tell me to call you.
Okay.
Talk to you, so we're good to go if you're okay talking with me.
Yeah, I'll talk to you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself so we can build some rapport? Because I don't know you at all. I know Officer Grayson, and I know James Kim, but I don't know any of the other negotiators.
Okay. Sure, yeah. Well, I've been on the Seattle Police Department for 24 years.
Wow.
And I've been a negotiator for like 15.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I've been doing law enforcement for about 30 years, Tim.
Wow.
So, and I've saved a lot of lives doing this, and I'm going to make sure we continue to do that. So that's why I'm glad you're talking to me.
Okay, I'm getting close to the grocery store where I can get the knives, but I'm not going to go in the grocery store. I'm going to keep walking and stay on the line with you.
Okay. how come you want to do this today?
Because I got proof that Harborview fractured my ribs. It happened in the psychiatric emergency services unit about 2 weeks ago. I attacked a person when an employee got mad that I was complaining about her, and I started yelling, and and I attacked them when they started getting aggressive with me. And somebody, I don't know who, put their leg on my ribs. And today I found out from Zoom Care. I did a video consult with a Zoom Care physician, and she referred me to X-Ray in Bellevue Zoom Care. And she, as soon as she got the images, she called me and told me that they had indeed been fractured. And I had told Harborview staff repeatedly over the 2-week period that I was there that I was having pain on my right side, and that it was often 4 out of 10, and they didn't care. They never did any kind of examination or anything.
Wow, that must have been very traumatic. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah. It wasn't right for me to... What?
Oh, you said you attacked them? Is that what you said? My phone broke up.
I attacked him 6 times. I attacked him right before I was discharged because R. Taylor, a very aggressive mental health specialist that's kind of like a nursing aide, but they have a little bit more training for mental health. He's very abusive to Sydney, a intellectually disabled lady who can barely care for herself, and he's always screaming at her that he's going to force her into her room if she doesn't go voluntarily, and that he's going to lock her in there, and it's against the law to do that unless she is imminent risk to herself or others. He's just doing it out of convenience, and he's very aggressive. And I wrote out a complaint and told him I was complaining about him, and he said, "I don't care," and I started hitting him. And then somebody tackled me and bruised my eye. For a little bit, I wasn't able to walk on my left leg, and then they got me, 3 people got me discharged right at 1 o'clock like was planned. And this happened yesterday.
God, Tim, that's a lot. So are you breathing okay today? Are you feeling better at all, at least?
No, I was in a lot of pain, and so I looked up how to do Zoom urgent care, and my mom paid out of pocket for them.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's got to be frustrating. You just keep going in and out of the hospitals. And you know what? James told me, Dr. Kim told me, like, you're really, really up to speed on our processes and stuff, and even the law. And it's interesting to me why you would, if you could maybe help me understand why you would put yourself in that position to get tackled, and then them do that to you. What gets you to that point? How can we avoid that in the future?
Because I have borderline personality disorder, and I have anti-personality disorder, and I learned about anti-personality disorder from the book written by the FBI, Thomas Stretch. He was the first person. He was the person who developed the negotiation program for the FBI in the 1980s, and he wrote the book Psychological Aspects of Crisis Negotiation. And I've read about half of it in the hospital. I haven't completed it, but I learned that I have tendencies of antisocial behavior where I think I'm okay and everybody else isn't okay, and I see that a lot where I think I'm superior to everybody else.
Well, seems half the battle of fixing it is knowing what you got to fix, right? But so, where are you today in that spectrum?
I'm anti. So I have blankets that I'm delivering to the homeless before I go to Harborview. I am starting my company, Crisis Response Services, because the mental health system continues to fail me, and SPD has not been able to convince the county to put me in the PAC program, which would be highly intensive, multidisciplinary treatment. And the reason why the county is declining me is because I don't have psychosis.
Decompensating sometimes and then not being able to get the correct help you need. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah.
God, that's frustrating for us too. And obviously you've met with Sergeant Kim.
Colin came to the hospital. I really like that you guys hired MHP Colin, because he went to the hospital and asked me to sign a piece of paper that would allow the high utilizer work group that he works with for the county to get all of my records from all the different hospitals. And I try to be transparent. I even tried to give my probation officer access to my UW medical records system by sharing him the link, and he declined. But I try to be very transparent with people about my failings. I try to tell people how smart I am, but also how much I have failed, and I do try to learn, and I learned a lot. I wrote a lot of the psych ICU is basically a bunch of isolation rooms. It's very different from any other hospital I've been in, and they can very easily seclude you. I was having to pee. There was a night where they didn't even give me a urinal, and I was restrained, and I was having to wet myself. I want some way. So I was just looking at my psychological aspects of crisis negotiation book on surrender, and one of the things they said is that you don't use the word surrender. You use the word like quit to fight another day, or pick up your tent, or something like that, and that that the examples that they gave is that the perpetrators were trying to find some resolution to the problem that they were having, and I don't feel like Harborview takes my complaint seriously. I talked to the nursing manager who is in charge of both the psychiatric emergency services and the ICU, and he does not, the psych ICU, and he simply does not investigate or take very seriously allegations of misconduct by employees. And my girlfriend Darlene, who I met and kissed in the psych ICU, is still in there, and she's reporting all this bad behavior, that she's fainting in front of staff, and they're just laughing at her. She's fainting because she can't handle her migraines, and she's been restrained and secluded a lot as well.
Gosh, I'm so sorry that's happening to your girlfriend. So, let me ask you this. I like to be straightforward with people. I hope you're okay with me being straightforward with you.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like to scaredy code things and beat around the bush. I think, like you said, you're being transparent. I want you to know I tend to always be that way as well, okay? But I just need to know, is it possible for you and me to meet up so maybe we can come up with a plan, or you can help me come up with a plan to help you out, maybe further your further, maybe there's a process for making a complaint against Harborview and getting your girlfriend into a safe place?
Yes, but I only want to tell you my location if you are the officer that will. So I on New Year's Day, I was planning a major attack on a politician and police and stuff. And the Washington State Patrol. I was traveling to Tukwila to return my rental car and do an attack on police and stuff. And the Washington State Patrol got a Lakewood negotiator on the line, and he handled the entire surrender process. He didn't give it to another person. He gave all the commands, and he was the one that put me in handcuffs. And so I would like you or James or to be the one that does the surrender process.
I don't have a problem with that at all. But I will have my friends with me, right?
Yes. I totally understand.
Okay. That's important to me too.
And
I also don't want to get.
and I would like Carl Newdwin to, if he's on duty, he had given me his number when I had a crisis where I was planning to stab people at Westwood Village, and followed James Kim's protocol for me to ask for a negotiator. And Carl gave me his work phone, and I did text Carl about a half hour ago and call him like he told me to before calling 911. And I'm about 2 blocks away from the Seattle line into the Southwest precinct, and I would like Carl to respond because I really like Carl. Carl Newland.
Hey, are you over in Southwest Street?
I'm 2 blocks from the Seattle line.
Okay. No, I went to Southwest Street.
Okay.
I gotta turn around. Let me stop for a second, okay?
Okay.
Apparently I can't hear while I'm driving. Let me stop for a second. So you're not in Capitol Hill?
No, I left my house, was going to get a knife at SARS like I've gotten. So the last contact I had with Sergeant Kim was at 16th and Roxbury, where I was trying to replicate the waterfront shooting, and he reminded me that they wanted me to call before I got a weapon, and I called you guys before. I looked up the direct emergency. Because of my employment at Seattle Police, I know that there is an emergency number that's used primarily by alarm companies, and I got it off the Washington State Military PSAP emergency numbers list, and I called you guys directly before going to SARS, and you got on the phone with me just shortly before I was going to go into SARS, and you convinced me not to go into SARS and get the knife.
Yeah, don't do that. I don't want you to have a weapon. I want to help you out today, and I think you deserve my attention enough that, and I hope that you're understanding that I think we're building a good rapport together.
Yeah, you're doing excellent.
Yeah, Carl's a great guy. Sergeant Kim, he's a great guy, and they've told me what you need, and I'm trying to help you out with that.
I did call my psychologist. Like, my mom is paying $400 a week for 2 hours with a psychologist. I contacted him, and I called him twice. He didn't answer the first time, and I called him the second time like he told me to if it was an emergency, and I told him what was going on, and he said that he needed to finish eating with his family, and he did try to call me back, but he is very new to the negotiator concepts. what I have found is that nobody in mental health except people in mental health who have specifically gone through crisis negotiator training, like Susie Kroll who's the MHP for and crisis negotiator for King County Sheriff. There's almost nobody in the mental health system that knows crisis negotiation.
Well, it's kind of, I don't think that it's predominantly a medical trained thing. I think it's more like for us in law enforcement as first responders, I think it's more of a niche for us,
Yeah, what I really like Chris Voss. So a special agent who trains negotiators. He somehow connected with me on LinkedIn because I'm very active, and I talked to Gary Nesner and other negotiators. And I talked to Ernie and Joe from Crisis Cops, the Emmy Award-winning documentary, HBO documentary, Ernie and Joe, Crisis Cops. That's why Carl gave me his number, because I explained that in the documentary their unit is set up so that they try to make sure that people aren't falling through the cracks, that their unit, that they as police officers in plain clothes will visit people at their homes, will do follow-ups, will give them their phone numbers. And I'm trying to create a company. I'm sleeping on the streets at night to walk in other people's shoes, and it's very different from when I lived in my RV when I was homeless in 2018. And I'm trying to do my part to use my expertise and like the MHPs have already been using my crisis profile abstract. You guys had Ride Along, and then it got canceled because it got sold to another company. And I've been creating a free version for the entire system, not just law enforcement, but for everybody to coordinate, so that people like me stop falling through the cracks.
Yeah, you've talked to some pretty prominent people. I've got Gary Nosner's book. It's a pretty good book.
Did he sign it for you like he signed James Kim?
I'd have to look. To be honest with you, it was a long time ago, and I don't know if he in fact did sign it.
Are you the one that is on his? There's a Seattle police negotiator that gave a really a good endorsement of the book on the cover. I think I have it on me. Let me look. Just 1 second. I'm gonna pull out my copy and see who the negotiator from Seattle is on the book cover. Okay, it's not the cover, it's the inside. Let's see.
It might be like Bruce Wynn.
It's Bruce Wynn. He said Gary Nosner's passion for the art of crisis negotiation has influenced hundreds, probably thousands of police negotiators in the world. His enthusiasm for this highly perfected skill is contagious. Does he still work for SPD? Are you there?
No. Yeah, he retired a few years ago.
Oh, I would like to meet him someday and thank him for all the work that he's done for SPD. SPD tried really hard to keep me as an employee, even though I had a very serious mental health incident when they were trying to, where the executive team was trying to get permission from the captain of the 911 center to put me back in the 911 center, because I developed systems that was able to tell the call taker that a phone number was tied to domestic violence, and I was able to do it in an automated fashion. I was able to tell them the call number that a caller had called previously. They asked me to design a system that would allow the call takers to put. So during a shooting call, the chief dispatcher, Adam, said that when there's a shooting call, there's getting tens of calls, and it's very challenging for the chief dispatcher to figure out what is new information. And so he asked me, I had my work computer with me, and he asked me if I could come up with a way to highlight red on their screen if a call taker put an asterisk in a message, and I had it working in 1 hour. And then he came up with the idea of keywords, and they were able, in a few days, they started sending me, all the chief dispatchers were using it, and they were sending me messages that they were getting notified of people with excited delirium and knives and stuff, that they were putting in these custom keywords of their choosing, that the local dispatchers were, the precinct dispatchers were supposed to tell them, and did not tell them. And then Chief O'Toole learned about my technology, and she immediately put it in use in the Real-Time Crime Center, and the Real-Time Crime Center realized two things. That they realized that there were a lot of priority 2 calls that they needed to be doing research for officers for, that they weren't getting notified with their current mapping system. And then the second thing is that they realized that they could put in suspect description. So if there was a homicide and the only piece of information was like a blue Honda, and then a few days later a blue Honda is seen recklessly driving down Ambom, they're able to automatically get notified that they might have a suspect description, and that they need to make it a priority 1. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, my phone's got a little delay because I'm driving.
Okay, I'm at 17th Avenue, and I'm trying to figure out the cross street for you. I'm at.
Stop walking so I don't have to chase you all over the
I stopped walking about 5 minutes ago. I'm at 17th Avenue. I'm at 9410. I believe I'm on Delridge. I'm on Delridge in 9410 Fresh Flowers Bakery. I'm got all of my stuff right in front of the bakery.
So at 9410 17th Avenue or Delridge?
I think it's Delridge, and the cross street is 17th Avenue.
Okay. So are you past Roxbury?
Yes, I'm in Southwest Precinct.
So yeah, I know that I was familiar with a lot of the stuff that you did, but I didn't know you did all that.
Yeah, and the team that, there were 3 professionals that went to college that came in and built the ride-along program, and they were not able to do the types of things that I figured out. Like they were not able to figure out how to automatically display the ride-along profile to the call taker, and had I been involved, I would have been able to do that. In fact, when I tried to explain what I had done, I was basically told that what I had done was impossible because they couldn't find the database table that I used to do that work. But I was I am not college trained. What I am is God made me very skilled at jumping over barriers of not letting people get in my way, and He's made me a very good advocate for myself, because my ex-girlfriend used to go to all of my appointments and advocate for myself, and she said, you know what, I'm going to give you a book on federal disability law, and I'm going to and you need to start advocating for yourself. And ever since, I've tried really hard to advocate for myself.
I didn't know that you were college educated. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was homeschooled for high school because I didn't like the classroom environment, and I hanged out at the University of Washington Math Department, and Professor William Stein did a lot of one-on-one tutoring and had his students that he was paying out of research grants to mentor me. And then as soon as I turned 18 and moved to Connecticut, he got me a contract with the University of Washington. And then after I left Seattle Police a few months later, he hired me as a temporary employee as a part-time employee of the University of Washington, and he hired both me and my girlfriend, and we got to go to Hawaii for this big conference that he put on, and I got to go on this I didn't know that the hike I had never hiked before, but I went on a hike that lots of people have died on, and I believe I was on the main island, and we went on this hike. We went for a waterfall and stuff. There was even a rescue helicopter that flew over us.
That's amazing. I haven't been to the Big Island yet. I've only been to Maui.
Oh yeah? I want to. I was going to spend my stimulus money on going to Hawaii, but I decided to start my company, and I launched a GoFundMe page to raise $10,000 to get my company started. And I started serving clients last night. I was able to build rapport so well by trading food and stuff that somebody gave me a brand new tent, sleeping bag, and blanket, and hand warmers, and mittens, and all because I gave him some drinks with my some Gatorades with my EBT card at 7-Eleven at Marion, and he was homeless. So I've been using my my mom didn't want me to go out tonight, and I said, okay, I am going to practice my active listening skills. And I asked Harborview to print out the to copy the active listening skills page. I don't remember the page number, or I would pull it out now. But I posted it on my door, and they posted it in their office, and they tried to. Some of them tried to. One of them. One of the mental health specialists who got a degree in pastoral psychology, he read some of the crisis negotiation book by the guy that created the FBI negotiation program in the 1980s, and he also read Prayful Spirit. I believe that there's a battle in my mind. I read in jail. When I was in jail because of the attempt to get officers to kill me with the replica gun, I was in jail for about 6 months. I read a really great book called Battlefield of the Mind, and basically there's this battle. I became a born again Christian in the psych ICU, and read my Bible extensively and started memorizing verses. My favorite verse is, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." And I'm creating a manual on crisis prevention and response. According to Sean Wickham, because Sean Wickham called me he now works for Sony PlayStation as the director of trust and safety. He said that there does not exist a bachelor's of arts in crisis management, and that he felt that because I worked in public affairs for the first half of my employment at Seattle police at a little table next to Patrick Michaud. I got to see firsthand how the Seattle Police Department handled crises and how they put out fires. And I was the person who copied the video of the first officer-involved shooting that we released within the 72-hour policy. And I copied it and brought it up without permission. And the team got the permission of the chief to publish it that night. And that started and then after I left, they got a written policy to mandate that officer-involved shooting videos are to be published in 72 hours, and they credit all the work that I did on video transparency and bringing that CD up to the Public Affairs Office in creating that policy, and that a lot of agencies across the country, like Las Vegas does the exact same thing, where they will show that they do a press conference where they show the body cam video of all their officer-involved shootings. And they do it very quickly as well. And Sean Wickham explained to me that because of the work I did, they presented their policy at the IACP conference, which I never got to attend, but would love to attend. So I just want to make it very clear. I'm just right in front of this fresh flowers, fine pastries, and coffee.
Making my way there. The freeway, the overpass is closed, so I had to kind of work my way around. But I'm coming, Tim.
Okay.
I'm listening to you. I'm very interested in what you're telling me. So let me ask you this, Tim.
Yeah.
So obviously, I guess I should ask you. Can I call you Tim?
Yeah.
I'm interested in specifically. You've made all the. But you made a lot of effort in your life to do really good, right? With the Seattle Police Department and stuff.
Yes.
But you've also made the opposite, where you threaten to kill people. You threaten to kill cops. It always concerns you, right?
Yes.
And blow things up and stab people. And I want to ask you, because I think you're very intelligent. You understand what you're doing, but it's hard for other people to conceptualize what and why you're doing it. How do we get to the point where we don't have these episodes anymore with you and get you in a place that works best for you? What do we need to do to make that happen? How does that
I would like my company to be partnered with the City of Seattle, and for a member of the crisis response team to be working with me, like MHP Colin and Officer Grayson. And what my goal is that especially after the waterfront shooting, I tried to replicate it, and officers did exactly what they were supposed to do and stayed far away from me and did not shoot me like what happened on the waterfront. After the waterfront, there's been increased calls to defund the police. And Danny Westney wrote a really great article that said, okay, if you're going to defund the police, you need to replace it with something that works. And so I want to create a organization called Crisis Response Services that handles the A to Z of preventing people from getting into crisis in the first place and to properly responding to them and helping them recover. And the other thing is that my mother is very stressed. She's extremely stressed. She lost her husband a year ago. We just lost our dog a few weeks ago to cancer. We had to put him to sleep. And she's very stressed about having to deal with me. She's very concerned about my rapid spending of money, and she knows she kind of freaks out when I scream at her that I'm trying my damnedest to be successful again, and like I was at SPD. I'm in a very deep hole. I'm so deep in a hole that Mary Perry, who was the director of transparency and privacy, told me that I needed to apply for SSI because I was so disabled. And a mitigation specialist that was also that's been working with me for the years as I've been ITA'd in hospitals, Kelly Russell. She filled out the paperwork for SSI, and she did it so well that I didn't get a denial like I was expecting.
That's awesome that you found somebody that you can trust to help you through that process.
Yeah, and Kelly Russell wants me to get involved with her group that is trying to transform the ITA process and the mental health process, and I asked her how we could work together to have her be transition from the Associated Council for the Accused as a social worker. Her title is mitigation specialist. She has a bunch of advanced credentials, like in family counseling and stuff, and I think my girlfriend is calling me, but I'm not going to answer.
Do you need to talk to her?
No, because she would be freaked out. She's having a really hard time in the psychiatric ICU. She's away from her son, and she's trying to divorce her husband and marry me, and she believes that God wants us to get married. And we even kissed in the ICU, and we held hands. We looked both ways and noticed that nobody was watching us, and we kissed and held hands, and we did Bible studies together, and we taught and she is a chef, and she's going to run. So my company is going to be called Peacemakers Incorporated, and it's going to have the University of Peace, and that's going to be the 4-year bachelor's of crisis management. That it's going to be more. I told people on the GoFundMe page that it's going to be more rigorous than Navy SEALs training, because you have to learn how to resolve problems without bullets. And I desperately want to win the Nobel Peace Prize. I love the film A Beautiful Mind, where he has severe schizophrenia, and his support team was able to convince the Nobel Peace Prize committee that he was competent enough, or that he was stable enough to come to Sweden to accept the prize. And I want to do that too. And Darlene is going to be the chief chef of the World's Buffet, and the slogan that she came up with is "Where the nations eat together."
Yeah, I think you're right 100% on that. Are you still there?
Yeah. Oh, and did I tell you that a special agent of the FBI connected with me tonight? That and he told me, I didn't know this, but Frank Abagnale's son is the chief crisis unit negotiator for the FBI, and I got to listen to a AARP interview with Frank and Scott about virtual kidnappings, and how Scott became an FBI agent, and they were talking about how great the FBI is, because even though Scott was the son of Frank, who had done all these horrible things, they evaluated Scott's reputation separately from Frank's, and so he got a law degree and passed the bar, and he became an FBI agent, and he did counterintelligence, and he said something about he really liked working to resolve situations peacefully, and I had no idea that Scott even existed, let alone that he was in charge of the crisis negotiation unit.
Wow. Well, you have so much going on in your life. I don't know how you keep up with everything.
Nobody is able to keep up with me, and what I think the best way going forward is that somebody works with me. So Sean Wickham was asked by Chief O'Toole. So Chief O'Toole told Mike Wagers, the chief operating officer at the time, that they needed to hire me for two reasons. One, I was doing a lot of free labor and I was on food stamps and I wasn't making any money and they were taking advantage of me. And second, they needed to get me as an employee to really let me loose and get all of these complex problems solved. And I am the first person of any organization in the world to ever have the title of resident hacker. When the SPD announced that I had been awarded the Washington Coalition for Open Government Key Award, they said that my title was resident hacker. And they talked about all the work that I did in transparency and crime analysis and emergency call taking and stuff. And by the way, I use a very advanced. I'm using an advanced call system that automatically transcribes, and it will tell the call. It's for call centers. It's for business call centers, and it's designed to automatically alert the call taker or the supervisor. If a supervisor needs to get involved, it can alert the call taker that they're talking too long and need to let the other person talk. And it's doing all this transcription and stuff. And the crisis touch line has an automated queuing system based on keywords in history of a phone number, as well as alerts that tell the volunteers what to remind them what to say. And so my system would take all those concepts and it would be combined in crisis profile. So all the work that the CRT does. So I have emails from the King County Sheriff's Office where they were thanking Officer Grayson for all of the hard work that he did creating a crisis bulletin after my January 6th incident at Dollar Tree, that he and a King County negotiator, they both handled it together and they had never worked together. And these experts at King County Sheriff's Office and the crime analysis group were thanking Officer Grayson for making that document so that they, who had never dealt with me before, could have some ideas for how to work with me and build rapport quickly. And I've been building this system called Crisis Profile that's going to be this international system where basically everybody's going to be in it, and we're going to try really hard to keep them out of crisis. Where I'm going to have a system. I have my mentor Michael Beebe since age 7, who has a PhD in nursing and a master's in nursing and informatics. He bought me a book called Care Coordination for Nursing. And one of the things that they talk about is that people often don't take their medications like they're supposed to. And so I would have a system where patients would record themselves taking their medications, and computer vision software from Amazon would be able to tell that they have or have not taken their medication, and would be able to tell by the shapes and colors that the medications in their hands are the right medications, and that they put their hand to their mouth and that they drink water. And it would be able to automatically notify the case manager for that patient if they did not take their medication that day. And it could trigger a welfare check.
Well, that's pretty impressive. Don't you think that people would actually buy into it, or do you think they'd be worried about Big Brother looking at them?
Well, in ITA court, in criminal court, both ITA court and criminal court have the ability to require patients to follow their treatment recommendations. And right now, so when I was in regional mental health court, which I got voluntary revote out of, and the prosecutor argued that he did not want me put in jail for a year, that he just wanted me voluntarily revote, and that they were going to transfer me to Seattle Mental Health Court, where I'm currently in. They were having me go to the clinic every weekday morning to take my meds, but they weren't able to prove that I was taking my meds on the weekends or evenings, and it was also messing with my schedule to be able to go to important business meetings and stuff. So this technology would be mandated by the court for criminal defendants who have been convicted of a crime and are ordered, like in probation or DOC, to prove that they're taking their medication. And then ITA, when somebody is discharged from the psychiatric hospital, they're typically on a 90-day less restrictive order where they're required to prove that they're required to be monitored for medication compliance. And so I believe that my software would be complied by the law.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Tim. It sounds like a great idea, and even if it doesn't work perfectly, at least at the starting point, right? I think it'd definitely be worth something looking into, because right now what we're doing doesn't completely work, does it?
No, it's a system that doesn't work for most people, especially if they have severe personality disorders, which I have. So the reason why I'm not in the PAC program is because I don't have schizophrenia or bipolar, and all the different players in my care agree that I have borderline personality disorder, and I also believe that I have anti-personality disorder, which I learned about from the crisis negotiation book by Thomas Stretch, and I believe that I'm alternating back and forth between these two disorders, So.
Well, I need to get a damn reading list from you, Tim.
I have all my books with me. I have my Borderline Personality for Dummies, Stalling for Time, Say What You Mean, Anger Management, the Complete Guide. I have Never Split the Difference. I have Care Coordination. I have the negotiation book I've been telling you about. Let's see, what else do I have? I'm going to just take out all my books and you can look at them when you get here. Let's see. I have Nonviolent Communication, which sold 2 million copies. And he was a famous mitigator for Israel and Palestine. I have The Power of Nice. I have The Prayerful Spirit. I have 10 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do, and I have the book by one of my pastors called The Journey, Living This New Life by Casey Treat, who runs the Christian Faith Center, the massive church in Federal Way.
Yeah, if you don't mind, when we meet, I'd like to take a picture of all that so I have it so I can start building my library a little better.
Yeah. I actually offered to pay to send Carl Newman to Susie Kroll works for a company called Crisis Systems Management, and they teach 3 levels of crisis negotiation, and she has all 3, and she also teaches for the Washington State I don't know what Survivors. I just know it as Empathy Academy because it was highlighted in Starbucks' documentary series Outliers or something like, or Outstanding Citizens, and it talked about how Survivor was upset about officers not knowing how to resolve violent incidents without the use of force, and so she completely overhauled the training. And the documentary that was done on her is called Empathy Academy, and Susie Kroll teaches there as well. So I offered to send Carl to Negotiator 1 school in Spokane. They're teaching it at the Spokane Police Department in a few months, and he said that he didn't want me to spend my money on him, but I did offer to pay with my stimulus money to send him to Negotiator School, and I sent an email to him and James Kim that I recommended him for the FBI training because he told me that he wanted to become a negotiator.
He does, and actually, the irony of this call is that we're doing interviews for negotiators this week, and Carl is one of those interviews I'm going to do.
No way. He asked me how he's been texting me and asking me how I've been doing and stuff, and so I and one thing that I want to do is I would like to be a part of the negotiator training as I would like to present to the students what because I've been through so many different altercations with a wide range of negotiators and police crisis intervention officers. I would like to tell them a little bit about what it's like to be I guess the subject or the suspect or the hostage taker, and I would like to tell them what it's like, what mental illness is like, and the frustrations it is for getting competent care and stuff. And I am suggesting this because in the documentary Ernie and Joe Crisis Cops, all new academy students for the San Diego Police Department get a lecture by a lady with schizophrenia who is affiliated with the NAMI Association, and my psychologist wants me to get involved with them as well because I'm so determined to help people with severe mental illness have their own agency.
Well, Tim, I'll tell you what. There might be a way for us to include you in some of our training. I don't know if it would have to be video.
I'll do video. I'll do video, and I'll just put it on YouTube so that everybody can learn from it.
What we'd have to do, Tim, is figure out, because our time is so limited in training,
Yeah.
that we'd have to condense it, and kind of, it has to be vetted. James actually would do the vetting, or Sergeant Kim. But yeah, it's something I'll definitely talk to him about, because why wouldn't we use your vast knowledge of mental illness?
Yeah. My goal, I think my goal for long-term stability is to find another person that can take. So my first supervisor was Sean Wickham because he had brought on a famous crime reporter and had been able to successfully employ him, and that person was falsely accused of hacking some homicide detectives, and he was able to get that employee through the the OPA process successfully. And then I was transferred to IT, and I had a supervisor for a while that supervised a lot of people, and then I was transferred to the 911 geographical data manager who only supervised me and one other person. And I learned a bunch of brand new technology that nobody in the department had ever dealt with. Even Greg Russell, who was the chief information officer for Amazon, who then took on the Seattle Police Department as a public service to give back to the community, and then he went on to Visa, and now he's the CIO for Grubhub. And Greg really respected me and tried really hard to get me back in the 911 center doing my great work.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's do this. I'm getting close to your location, okay?
Okay.
So I just need to clarify a couple of things from you.
Okay.
Today, what was your intention today?
I was going to get a knife from SARS, and I was going to get on the 120, and then I was going to walk to the emergency department at Harborview, and I was going to stab the security guard and get past the is that you guys that I'm hearing?
No, it is not us. We're not anywhere near you.
They're coming right at me.
It's not you.
There's a bunch of SPD going right by me. There's 4 SPD that just went by me.
Yeah, they're going somewhere else. Is there a call somewhere on south there? Yeah, no, they're not for you, Tim.
Okay.
Okay?
It kind of scared me.
Hey, me and a couple of my guys are coming to meet you.
Okay.
Okay? So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
So
you were going to go to SARS and get a knife?
Yeah.
You were going to go
Take I was going to replicate the Oklahoma City bombing. Taught the federal government that it should not use violence against people unless absolutely necessary. That my understanding from Stalling for Time is that the Oklahoma City bombing was in retaliation for Ruby Ridge and Waco. And I had this idea from Satan that if I did that, there would be a number of legal inquiries into the University of Washington's management of psychiatric patients. For example, Harborview, they're the only ones that do this. Whenever somebody is suicidal and they can't get into PES right away, they're restrained, whereas every other hospital in the county that I have been to has sitters and does not restrain people simply because they have suicide ideation. The law, the Joint Commission says that a person needs to be imminent risk to themselves or others to meet the criteria for seclusion or restraint. And other hospitals have found that they are able to monitor patients by having emergency department technicians. So that's one of my complaints. And I made that very clear to the UW nursing unit manager for PES and psychiatric ICU. And I made a formal complaint about it.
So Tim, do you think you meet the criteria for an IPA?
No, because I called you guys. I did not get a knife. I have been very focused on resolving this peacefully. I was ITA'd last night, and I had an hour-long chat with the crisis worker from Sound Health, where I'm currently tiered, and we worked out a safety plan. That one of the things was that, if I was having serious thoughts of something, that I would contact my psychologist, like I did. I tried to contact Carl as well. My psychologist did answer, but he said that he was in the middle of dinner with his family, and by the time he got back to me, you guys were already on the phone.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you think that having a plan to go buy a knife, go to the ED, stab somebody, you don't think that meets the criteria for IPA, dangerous to self or others?
No, because I didn't follow through on the plan.
Well, yeah, that would be a different person then, right?
Well, I didn't take any concrete steps to obtain a weapon.
this end tonight?
Well, I'm going to take the 120 to downtown and deliver my blankets, and I'm going to feed the homeless on around the 3rd and Pine and Pike area. There's a large homeless population there, and I'm going to feed them with my food stamps and pizza and stuff from 7-Eleven at Marion, and then I'm going to go to my church at 7:30 for Easter service, and then I'm going to my other church at 9:30 for breakfast and service.
Okay, and you have no intention at this point to go try and get a knife from the Harbor View?
No, no. And
You need to Amazon.
and I can set up. I have Life 360 on my phone, and I can give you guys access to my GPS location so that anybody can monitor where I am at any time.
Well, I don't think that. But what I do want to know is, so I just got to clarify, you have no intention to go hurt or kill anybody today?
No, my intention is to help the homeless. I have 2 blankets that my mom donated, and I was going to hand. There's all these people that are freezing cold with very few layers of clothing, and they're sleeping with no blankets on the streets around the 3rd and Pine and Pike area. And I was going to hand out the 2 blankets that my mom found and donated to my organization as the first donor to my organization.
Okay, perfect. Well, here's what I want to do, Tim. I'm going to come meet with you, okay?
Okay.
And you know I'm bringing some of my friends.
Yes.
Obviously,
Yes. And I'm willing to be handcuffed. I'm very familiar with that.
Okay. Yeah, I want to do that just for abundance of caution.
That's fine.
And then, but here's what I want to do. I want to make it very clear how we're going to come to you and approach you.
Okay, I'm emptying all my pockets, and I'm turning everything inside out. I'm taking off. I remember how Officer Grayson did this with me on January 6th, so I'm going to put down the phone and take off all my upper layers. Just 1 second. My all of my pockets are inside out, except the 2 back pockets do not fold inside out. But there is nothing on me, and I took off all my layers except my T-shirt.
Okay. So let me tell you this. So you know I'm a sergeant, right?
No, I did not know that. I knew that James Kim was a sergeant.
Yeah, he and I are both sergeants, and we're both the hostage leaders.
Okay.
So what I want you to know is this: if you're okay with it, I'm not going to hang you. I'm going to have somebody else do it because
Okay.
I'm supposed to be guiding everybody.
Okay. Can Carl do it?
Carl's not here, but I have an opposite gender who works with me a lot. I can have him do it if you'd like.
What's his first name?
Joseph, you've met me, Tim. You wrote me a big card in East Precinct before.
I did? Oh, wow.
A big thank you card in the lobby of East Precinct.
Oh, wow. I didn't. I thought they just threw that away.
No, man, we kept that.
Oh, wow. I write a lot of thank you cards because of the book 365 Thank Yous, where this attorney whose life was in shambles, he started writing thank you cards, and he and his clients that were receiving these thank you cards that weren't paying him on time started paying him on time, and his life vastly improved. So I wrote a lot of thank you notes in the psyche ICU.
Okay. So, is it okay if Jason does it for me?
Yes.
Okay. And so, we're going to come there, and I'll obviously have my team together, and we're going to give you some orders just so everybody stays safe.
Okay.
Jason puts it in, I'll put you in a warm car, and then we can figure out how we're going to go forward for the rest of the night.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have any weapons on you?
No.
No guns, no explosives?
I have nothing.
You have no intention to hurt me or my office?
No. The only sharp thing I have is pens, and they're all out of, I have about 10 pens, and they are I took everything off. I took everything out of my pockets and put it on the ground. So the only sharp thing was pens.
Okay. So, tell me again exactly where you are.
I am at 9410 Delridge. It's called Fresh Flowers Bakery, and it says Black Lives Matter. Yeah. I'm on Delridge, and I'm right by a sign that says 17th Avenue Southwest. I'm at Delridge and 17th Avenue Southwest.
Yes, and you're right in front of the store there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Tim, don't hang up. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I'm going to head up there, okay?
Okay.
So, I appreciate you being cooperative with me.
Yeah, you're really good at building rapport with somebody that you've never worked with before.
Well, you're pretty easy to talk to be honest with you. So, as long as we can have a reasonable conversation, hell, I can have a beer and talk to anybody for that matter.
Well, I don't drink and I'm not allowed to drink. But I would like to have apple cider with you. How about that? Someday.
Well, maybe, like I said, maybe I can work on getting, and I will work on getting some assistance from you in the training aspect of our H&T stuff, right? Because maybe there's some insights we can obviously gain from you.
Well, and I do a lot of research. And I do a lot of research, and I contacted Chris Voss. Do you know who Chris Voss is?
I don't know the name, but I'm not real good with names.
So Chris Voss was the lead international kidnapping hostage negotiator for the FBI. He was the one guy that if your family member got kidnapped in Mexico or in Haiti or whatever, he was the guy that would coach the negotiators in that country on how to get him out. And Harvard Business School demonstrated that he was a better negotiator than any business negotiator because they did a test run. They did a surprise test on him where they pretended that they had kidnapped his son. And he was able to control his temper, and he was able to say, well, how am I even supposed to give you your money if I don't even know if my son is alive? And they were able to prove with different scenarios that he was tested in that he far outperformed business negotiators trained by Harvard Business School, which is the most elite business school in the world. Because the FBI had to develop such good tactical empathy in the behavioral stairway model and stuff.
Wow. Well,
So I contacted his company. I contacted his company and said, you know, I would like help starting my company, and that I want to get contracts from every government in the world to be their lead crisis, mental health crisis prevention and response agency.
perfect. Well, those are some lofty goals, but I'm sure if anybody can do it, you can.
Yeah, I'm a miracle baby. My mom had 2 miscarriages before me because her cervix wasn't able to contain the babies, and they were born premature. And she went on medication, birth control, to prevent having another baby. And is that you guys? I see the red light. I see the in-car video light. Is that you guys?
Yeah, stay right there for me, okay? I'm going to park right here, and we're going to call you to me, okay? So put your phone down, and I'll talk to you with my mouth. All right, Tim, thank you.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to have you come a little closer to me and keep your hands up, okay? There you go. Walk right towards my line, okay? You're doing a great job. Anybody can tell you where I am going to report everything, okay? Perfect. Keep walking towards me. Doing an awesome job.
Well, you're doing an awesome job. You've never worked with me.
Stop right there for me. Now what I want you to do is kind of run in the circle real slow. Line right here.
This is already open. It's with Scott James.